I had no idea the British press was so bigoted.
This one's wife. Why rebrand your children? Hello, I'm H.G. Tudor. There has been considerable commentary about the recent rebranding of Archie and Lilibet by saying that they now have the surname Sussex, even though it's actually Mountbatten Windsor. Holly Wainwright, who writes for something called mamamia.com.au, poses the question about why would this one's wife and Harry rebrand their children. She states, just royal enough. That could have been the brief Harry and this one's wife gave to the PR team responsible for their 2024 rebrand. It's a comeback year for the Californian branch of the former Royals Club, and they're in the middle of their carefully plotted relaunch, slightly derailed by dramatic news from home. 4 years on from Cyclone Megxit, and according to their official bios, Harry's still a prince, this one's wife's just this one's wife. They're both Duke and Duchess, the kids are Prince and Princess, there's still a coat of arms on their new Simply Slick website. But they're not, royal like that. They've done away with the family surname, Mountbatten Windsor, confirming the children get around as Archie and Lilibet Sussex. The arms they are using on the site is this one's wife's modern design, the one she was gifted when she married Harry in 2018, a regal songbird with Californian golden poppies. They are not HRHs anymore. No. They're not royal. In that way, there's no need to curtsy or anything. Crucially, they are not so royal that they need to go back to England to visit a wool-making factory in Nottingham like Princess Anne did last week, or attend the air ambulance gala in freezing London as the Prince of Wales just did, or visit a community centre in Norfolk like the Queen did a week before that. No, they're not royal like that. With Harry's dad, King Charles, having cancer treatment and Catherine, Princess of Wales, recovering from surgery, the roster of actual working royals of cutting ribbons and making speeches in a fragrant blur of activity. The calendar of charity events, infrastructure openings and children's performances in drafty town halls won't just fill itself. But this week, alongside the glossy launch of the regal bluesussex.com and the revelation that his children have formally adopted the title he's only had for a few years himself, Prince Harry crucially tweaked his tone. Swapping Windsor, with all its very clear links to his brother and dad, for Sussex, the royal title he was gifted when he married this one's wife, is a clear move to establish his nuclear family as its own royal satellite. But is also hedging bets. A source close to Harry, and if we learned anything in his selling memoir Spare, it's that sources are usually the family, said that Harry would be willing to return to the fold to help lift the load of royal family duties if his father asked him to. Harry also, himself, with his own mouth, answered a question of whether a reunion in the face of his father's illness was possible. "Oh, absolutely, yeah, I'm sure," he said, at the launch of next year's Invictus Games in Canada. "Throughout all these veterans' families, I see it on a day-to-day basis, the strength of the family unit coming together, yeah." Once again, another author has identified that the approach is we want to have our own sealed unit that's identifiable as us, but we just want to keep alive that royal connection, not quite totally letting go. It's confusing, really, because the Sussexes have podcasts to make under this new post-Spotify deal, and further Netflix shows to make. They also have Invictus, and what they describe on Sussex.com as patronages, ventures, and organisations which receive the support of the couple individually and or together. All of which sounds half royal, half not. So, Why the Sussex rebrand? And why rebrand your children's names? And why, after the best part of a year lying low after the blistering success of Spare, are Harry and this one's wife suddenly everywhere? Well, I wouldn't quite agree saying that they've been lying low. We saw plenty of them, particularly her, last year. Well, the answer is that the couple have to make a significant living, no matter what. As Prince Harry has carefully documented, his family security is expensive, man. It costs at least $3 million a year, he said, to keep his family safe now that London won't pay the bill. And life in Billionaires Row, in Monty Shitshow, doesn't come cheap, as Harry acknowledged in Spare, when he talked about wanting a lovely California movie star house with lovely Californian toilets. And he's always said that it's not the royal family he has a problem with, also confusing, seeing as how most of the colonised world does appear to have a problem with it, but the way the London branch of it operates in cahoots with his arch nemesis, the tabloid media. Add to this another strategic leak that this one's wife is trying to reconcile with her poorly sister-in-law Catherine, which of course he parts past him as a load of nonsense, and it seems that bridges are being tentatively built to keep that royal option open for the Sussexes. Finally, there just aren't very many princes and princesses in America. Those titles can come in handy. The last line of this one's wife's bio on the new website reads, "This one's wife lives in California with her husband and their children Prince Archie and Princess Lilibert." The first line reads, "This one's wife, the Duchess of Sussex, is a feminist and champion of human rights and gender equity." All of which indicates that she and Harry may well still be torturing an institution that they claim has tortured them. They're still adjacent to all the advantages and status, and doing none of the standing around shaking hands at the opening of an icy meatworks in Luton. Just royal enough, indeed. And this, again, demonstrates two things. It reinforces, as I've told you many times, about the way that her narcissism wants something for nothing, that it wants to achieve the prime aims with the minimum of input. And once again, this is what's happening. I want all the advantages of being royal without having to do any of the hard work, without having to do the meet and greets. I can't believe I'm not being paid for this. That she doesn't have to stand around in the cold, go and meet the crowds, shake the hands, etc., listen to somebody explain how a custard cream is made in a biscuit factory and so forth. But she wants the upsides that come with it. The fame, the recognition, the access to titles, the utilisation of those titles for making money. The second aspect it shows is once again the fact that without the titles, without the link to royalty, she and Harry are nothing. And that it's recognised that they need to keep that door open. Otherwise, they really will be in trouble. And as part of keeping that door open is the utilisation of Sussex as part of the rebrand involving their children, which demonstrates again just how this one's wife simply sees her children as a means to get to what she requires, that they are just commodities that are to be used by her, that she doesn't see them as separate individuals in their own right, but that she can give them particular labels that suits her with regard to her rebrand. I'm H.G. Tudor. Thank you for listening.